According to the National Hazelnut Growers Association, there are around 300,000 hazelnut trees grown on over 400 hectares in New Zealand, from Invercargill to Auckland. Dave and Bev Null established their Marlborough hazelnut orchard around 20 years ago. Dave shows us around.
We've got a 20-acre block divided into several sections. We've got 10 acres of hazelnuts, 3 acres of eucalyptus firewood trees, and then we have a hay block that we just produce hay in. We wanted a crop, first of all, while both of us were working, that stored well, didn't go off, didn't have to be harvested quickly, and a crop that everybody liked. We came in here about 20 years ago. There were 2 or 3 people in Christchurch growing hazelnuts, but other than that, I don't think there was much of anything. Most of our research, in fact, came from Oregon State University rather than New Zealand. The harvest starts toward the end of March and goes on through all of April and just a little bit into May usually. It starts with nuts falling on the ground as they dry up, and as soon as we think that a good supply of nuts are on the ground, we start the harvest. The nuts are all laying under the tree. We pull them over with very cheap leaf rakes. Then we harvest up the windrow of nuts and they go into the harvester. All the leaves, sticks, trash, even stones go through the harvester. They blow out the side or come out the back, and the nuts find their way into sacks. The hazelnuts are self-infertile, so that we need pollinator trees along with our main crop tree. Our main crop tree is called Whiteheart. It's a New Zealand bred variety, but our pollinators are mostly brought from overseas. And the idea is that there's a little window of time for the male pollen to meet the flower. And for the flower, there's a little window of time, and those 2 windows have to overlap. Later on, almost at the beginning of summer, the nuts start to form so that you can see them. So there's quite a time gap between the fertilization and the nut forming. We don't spray anything on the trees. We spray under the trees, of course, with glyphosate so that we can find the nuts. Pruning is pretty simple. We try to prune about 1/5 of the orchard every 5 years, so that over 5 years we've covered the whole orchard. Once they're picked up off the ground with the harvester, they go into the shed and they sit vertically so that air can move around them until we can get to them to wash them. The stones all fall to the bottom in the water and the hazelnuts float, and we pull them off, put them onto tables, and they dry for a couple of days. Then we rebag them and put them in our storeroom. They need to be down to about 5 to 8% moisture content before we sell them. We test the moisture content by grabbing a weight of nuts. We weigh it, and then we put it in the ovens. We weigh it again, put it back in the oven, weigh it again. When it doesn't change weight anymore, we can calculate the moisture content. The final process out of the storeroom is to take them into the nut room, and we crack, and then we take the shells away from the nuts, and then it's up into the commercial kitchen. We've got about 14 different products. We started out just selling fresh nuts, and then based on what customers asked for, it just blossomed. We don't have any waste. Any broken nuts from doing the whole nuts get ground into some other product. Even our shells don't get wasted. They go as mulch, and people come by and pick them up for free. About 30% of our business is through the farmers market and any other little markets that we do, mostly the farmers market. About 70% of our business is caused by our website or orders from restaurants, and it all comes by email.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.